So all these things, share the ebano. Now, mama yanko enim ne yen churches and same way. Team, I'm going to cut a lot out. Team, I think I'm going to cut a lot of the stories out. We can do a few of them. One story I think it's making headlines in Ghana. It's about cocoa or Ghana. Cocoa or Ghana, and story in Ghana say we are tired of waiting. Cocoa farmers protest payment delays. And to be very honest with you, this is the first time I am hearing a year cocoa in Asamoah, Ghana. Some people want it to look like cocoa farmers, they have been neglected by the government. No. Because I say I buy way by power. And because I time I NDC winning power. My time platform music I say it's about job. It's about making sure say I buy the also yeah. I buy way winning power. The first thing he told us say there were so many government agencies. Agencies and I say I buy in Juma Bibra na eka amene. In fact, a special example or one example the energy sector. Ye kai eka aban we beto ye when it comes to the energy sector. Na sebio eba enyine munkani ansema na wutimbi na msubi timbi. At a point we all experience doom so to the fullest. And so MPP for catcher say yeni anko create a timetable na po catcher omudi atem. We all lived in Ghana. We knew what was happening. Near him say yenkani ansema say yentumi nyakani 12 hours scramble near the other. But at a point, there was a government that made us believe, say, even though we were going through the problem, there was no problem. It made it clear to Ghanaians to say, Oma beto problems, sir. They are going to try everything possible to solve the problems. And obviously, no government in the history of Ghana, Abanwe Edi Abaimu 1 year, 3 months. We had a government that had been in government for 8 years that could not solve cocoa problems. And I'm not here to do the blame games thing. And that's not how I do my journalism. Say I can say cocoa time you cocoa kuyafo and the consistency in the paying of cocoa kuyafo. I am not the kind of journalist who does petty journalism, go and bring something and say MPP abreso who say time we. Now I don't have time. Right now a NDC abreso. So if cocoa paid and our cocoa farmers payment a delay, we should at least learn something from the beginning about Weber power. This government was straightforward with us. There are things that they came to inherit that were huge issues they had to deal with. And so far, a situation as a nation, the government has done more than enough in every sector. I am not saying the government has performed better, but if you are going to look at a buying way 1 year and 2 months, and the Oma year in different sectors of the economy, you will appreciate, say, this government is still on that track to solve problems. And the cocoa farmers issue, it's nothing new. And I say it's not something the government is not thinking about. I cannot sit here and tell you, say, Ochanopa, Randy Abe and Cocoa Board will lift 100 billion and pay every cocoa farmer. It doesn't work like that. What is happening is the government is in the process of solving problems that have been created there. It will take some time. Now, if cocoa farmers omwankasa atigana ha omunim abanmu ene abanyakot na abanyabano, you can see what this government has done in these few years, in this 1 year, 3 months. Nyoma na first cocoa kuyafo eto osankede mo mu free no, and the aban the sanyoma nyina cocoa kuyafo. And I'm not saying it justifies say cocoa kuyeni echa ni cocoa na say osi etua ne car na say enyam by a month or two. I have to sit here and say it is normal. It is not normal, but you need to see the gesture, the abane here to meet you halfway. Aban way sebio oba aban mo no wachre say cocoa farmers enyankophobia we yi omo pahwi. The way this government in a short period, in a short time, otumi cocoa boom, sibia in a short time, otumi ma cocoa farmers fertilizers for free, otumi sprayers for free, otumi insecticide for free. Then means na aban no pepa or pese or de bois eyi cocoa farmers na cocoa kuyafo no every problem amobo mu no enne efri mu. Until you could see, say, the government from day one, no, they have always tried everything possible. Even though still no man rosary, no, Abanwe has been able to try and solve every single problem and Ofori-Atta when blame will be. There's never a day a matters at John Mahama. No pokwajiman. And I say any minister, ejina bejum blame the past government say and intend to juma. Even in this moment, I will see Cocoa Board struggling, trying to raise money to pay cocoa farmers. No, I have not seen people get on the street to say, and the MPP binti aban munjano, and I will not sit here and say that. This government, so a cocoa ni papa. And yes, uncle for way foot soldiers, MPP foot soldiers are a miracle. I do a video no. Cocoa for papa matna Ghana ye juma. Ewo cocoa fua kesiye papa. Sebio omwashe aban papa. Ejume dia o dia mo from the dia John Mahama baye. Omuni MPP tnaye ni imbai bibre tnaye. Omunim the difference. So what the real cocoa farmers and cocoa for papa now ewo Ghana and say they know this is a glitch. They know, say, these things, it happens sometimes. They know, say, this is not something new. Ebinsi Ghana cocoa sector. This is not the first time. Cocoa kuya for sebio ati cocoa. Aban eka se. Or yet you may be na wachishesi di tuamomo. This is not the first time. Inti, I am also not going to sit here and say, and the abino, chakra, no. Abino needs to find a way to solve the problem. But the question here is, nobody should make it look like, say, and the cocoa for say aban enter kanti ebi sida but hwebebi aban we akoma free ba see the aban we etumi ayama edien cocoa kuafo share the aban we from day one omotumi akekesi ani ede abedru ha ede aboa cocoa kuafo it will tell you say sa aban we aban a ewo opepa there is no government abedi o man we so a etumi bie na no aka kire say omutia kwekuafo on the spot, on the date, on the time. Ebi see that. In fact, omo ende omakofa MPPs, foot soldiers, any constituency executives. Akogun wurem baby say omo kwekuafo no. Mumbu say omo say so omo kwekuafo ankasa sapa omo dua koku ache a omati koku Ghana. Da ben na ban bi ba ya wetua kwekuafo 30 days pepepe because koku adwuma no e aban ton na sika ni biaba. It takes time for sika to come for aban to pay. So it has been something ewo ho. And yes, a boapayo and a ban we aba. Just say 1 month and I say bibia cocoa, yentua cocoa kuafo. Inti nipebi emanite say, hey, yachichiri Ghana bin see though. Yepe abaya abwa cocoa kuafo pa. A very difficult moment is this government. And I can tell you, and go back to the abawe etubidiama cocoa kuafo. In the Sanko for ya MPP focuses on Omunyakuta MPP card. Card bearing members, constituency executives, party foot soldiers, and the MPP for any joy news for Eddie Omuya concert. No, these are not real cocoa farmers. Cocoa Kuafuanka Sankasa Omunya Aban Daly. Cocoa Kuafuanka Omuti Aban we ase. Cocoa Kuafuanka Omunim Aban we akuma. The Wayamo from the day John Mahama about power. No, they know and they believe that this government will find a way to solve this problem because there's never been a day in the history of Ghana, yes, cocoa kuafua cocoa yentu omokada. They are going to be paid, and I know. And cocoa kuafua sebio omo any aban we atna from 2025 January ebesin neno. They know what this government has done for them, and they know what this government can do. It is anyoma we no, we should not pay attention to them. These are things that MPP for omo yejumaye. A propaganda, a tro, and I will not write out the fact to say a abandoning the cocoa foka. The government is owing cocoa farmers. But the fact of the case in the say, a buying way will definitely pay cocoa farmers. Cocoa kuafo, and your omunkwana bind your maka. This government owes different people. But this government, at the end of the day, is trying to then solve all these problems. Kakra, a buying way a cow beto ye. About energy, about agri sector, about education, about she say about we a car or better ye, she a car a young kofu bottle. But this government has never blamed anybody. What this government does every single day is to find solutions to problems that these people after 8 years left. Intermediate. Kokwe kuafo papa no enye wemu de say party mu card holders. Wemu de say MPP4. Sa video na circulate on social media. Miracle abwaja kwaji sika Bawumia ho opesa approve say onimnyansa no MPP4. MPP foot soldiers. MPP MPs. The constituency executives. Omo nyina kuta party card. Nyina nye kokwe kuafo Ghana. Ankasa nim de ekoso Ghana. And what I can say is we all need to look up to the government. The government aban we betua. Aban we will solve the problem. And this is not even any crazy problem. To be very honest with you. Me won so makofa actors bia betena ho na koko yentua meka intimi ba ntimi nko school na me ba bewu me say omo nyina ye actors. The real cocoa farmers in Ghana omo dog Ghana, nim Ghana, they baby omo free abedu hano. They understand what is happening and they understand this government. And I also urge the government, urge Cocoa Board, whatever they can do to solve this problem. And then last time we say, in this jandam we are MPP 4 year. Sa Cocoa 4 year almost say MPP foot soldiers, bobo red none of these people obi no Cocoa. Majority of them confirm who video no omuni Cocoa for ebro 1 acre. 90% of nkofo amu video no omu MPP foot soldiers are omu Cocoa. Na miracle abwaje dabe no oti Cocoa adwuma ase. Miracle abwaje o Cocoa fu. Miracle abwaje de MPP for no dabe no muba Cocoa fu afuom. Omu betina power 8 years no dabe no mutumi 2 VAT de ba enwuram ka say we Cocoa fu e de omu betina nwuram. Omu gin say Ghana fu agimi. I just want one picture, one video of Miracle Abuajini MPP4 during the 8 years in office. Omutu V8. Any Cocoa Fuom say Cocoa for our problem. They know they are playing games with you. Omu person omu ni pebia juni dia grow. But once Ghana for no, ya you may be to the point to say, yeah, massa MPP4 comedy ni concert way and the really bibia. The government is working. The government will solve the problems, and nobody from anywhere can convince Ghanaians to say abani yejuma. The government is working. Kokwe kuyafu ankasankasa omu yejuma. They know, and they will make sure say eyedian abanwe emiti omu halfway. Inti this is no news. Kokwe kuyafu omu kokwe kuyafu papa ankasa no. They know. So let's not pay too much attention to the MPP 4 year. So we saw videos now. MPP foot soldiers. Card bearing members, MPP for omuye ADA, almost omuye Cocoa for majority omni Cocoa for Miracle Abuaje, and a koto force in Tadema mu bisa omu share, no mbe sa anyomano. Ghana betua Cocoa, and this ya betua Cocoa for Obia kuma betoni yim. Finito. All right, now there's this issue. Ayawaso East, once and some. Now, I would like to say this. You won't know about TV so. And now, Jandam, you say, Ayawaso East Primaries, NDC react to vote buying allegations. The issue Ayawaso Primaries is CSA, Baba Jama, the former MP, Neireno, and the Primaries, of course, no. Say, you Krobia, Sebio, smart pa. In the history of the Republic of Ghana, this is the first time a government, a president, and a party has officially come out to criticize its own primaries. This is a huge step. John Dramani Mahama Abainwe, NSA NDC party, Omachre say you can never compare the NPP to the NDC. And this is where we are supposed to pick the message from. At the end of the day, party no at the committee almost investigate issue ne see no. President ne the nice form say share ASEM. Me as a Ghanaian, me pet Ghana's democracy to be on track, to make sure money does not take over our politics. You know, I should be very excited to see a president, to see a government or a political party, its leadership, take bold decision to make utterances in the history of Ghana. Yentibida say a party will release a statement and speak on its own primaries about things they believe, about things they suspect to say were not done in the interest of party, and the democracy we are practicing. It means to say the NDC, they have moved Ghana's maturity in governance, in democracy, to a level to say majority of African countries Andrew. This is the first time in the history of Ghana. President Tumika say this primaries, the party in power Tumika say this primaries, and yet the general secretary of a party, its leadership, even its leadership in the legislature or in parliament, is able to boldly release a statement against their own primaries. This is a big step. This is a big edge in Ghana's democratic dispensation. Because Ubetman Antiako Ghana have a from the time Fourth Republic we started. You know, we've never had a government, and I'm talking about an MPP government that has been bold enough to speak against ills, against democracy, against elections, against their party and activities. In the history of Ghana, it is only John Mahama, the NDC party, and the NDC legislative. So you need to understand say the NDC and today the conversation is about what? Me sitting here, the disciplinary action the NDC is going to take, it's not my problem because the NDC knows what to do. They know how to put a committee together. In fact, they have put a committee together. But part to be to me, you say, part to be secretary, to me, Kasa, part to be leadership of parliament to me, Kasa, part to be president, to me, Kasa say, wait, dear, yantiasie. This is extraordinary. Ebin see that. Nansanke Kufuor ne Bawumia, Sankwasiafo to me biomano eka and some see under their leadership 8 years about elections Anke Kro and Kebiawoni. So we should be happy. We should applaud the president, applaud the NDC. They have shown say when it comes to democracy, eba kebima min kebi, omuti party be a Ghana. So this is a record, and this is something we should appreciate. Young people, old people, these are things we need to sit back and say, part way the omu de part way Ghana power. Right now, every young person in the university, in any tertiary institution, every young person in senior high school will sit and say, this is a party. When I grow up and I contest in and somebody tries to even bully me, use their money, their wealth, their influence, the party will be able to step up and say things didn't go the way it's supposed to go. This is a new Ghana, new party, new governance. The NDC are lifting your governance, and your democracy, the understanding of our democracy to a higher level. So the conversation should be about, have we reached there yet? Is the NDC taking us to where we want to get to? The na ye pe de no de bia ye kasa na your politics there ye betime yisikasama frim your politics there party be na betime agina ho akasa ayi sa de no. This is the beginning of the step na ye take for a long time no. When we sit on radio and on TV, on social media, on TikTok, we need to be proud. We can sit anywhere else and say, under the leadership of John Mahama, under NDC as a party, under the leadership of Mahama Yarga in parliament, the majority caucus, they have been able to speak against their government. Salah Cow, chairman to me, MPP chairman, Nkwasiafo di MPP. We saw elections for Ghana and the MPP conducted here. Even their recent primaries, Bawumia, Chesika, Agyapong, Chesika, Agyapong, we saw it glaring in our eyes. In front of us, we all saw it, the way they were throwing money around. And none of these raccoons, dead goats, were able to speak against their party. That Bawumia and Agyapong, Moni Kennedy, Sika essay, party, no, essay Ghana politics. There are videos all over the place. We saw Sika Agyapong eche, Yamu Sika Bawumia eche, Akosua Menmu, Kennedy Agyapong, the Bajina Fonso eche Sika. These are things that none of these piglets was able to say no, enough is enough. Bawumia Kwadwo ho, Kofo ho, Hakuna Uso Ajima ho, my Kokwe ho. All the co-mininis are there. Nobody after Kennedy, the lap dog. He saw all these things. But you see, the difference between NDC and MPP is say the NDC, they have matured in politics. It does not matter who you are. If things are not done right, Ombekacho with him said Abi. And Ghana, your problem has been about money influencing our decision in politics. Now, if the NDC has taken this step to make sure so that money factor no free your politics more, then the NDC is doing Ghana more good than these piglets. It is a TV swa. You need to ask yourself, at the NDC where ye, how far is it going to go to help our democracy? How far is it going to help curb corruption? How is it going to change our political landscape? The NDC have set a standard. We need to push that standard. We need to make sure, we force the other political parties, especially the NPP, which is filled with people with corrupt money. People who only think, Samikutesika na relevant. Because today, they are all rallying around Agyapong, Bawumia, and Kennedy because Omuosika to give to the so-called delegate dogs to share and come give us bad leadership. And this is the time we need to sit and say, the difference between the NDC and the NPP is very clear. The NDC has shown maturity. They have shown, say, Ghana Democrats, non person yi sasika semni free. And to me, I don't care about the disciplinary committee. I don't care about it is the party's decision. They will have to find a solution to that problem. But at least they have been able to tell us Ghanaians that it's a party that does not rely on sika, does not rely on people sharing money to take power. And if we all hold these political parties accountable to these things, we will have a country whereby we will have genuine, legitimate people leading us as a nation than bringing raccoons, drug addicts, corrupt, crazy people in the MPP sharing money like mad dogs with diseases. We saw it. We witnessed it. And nobody in Ghana can tell me, say, what we witnessed under the MPP, time and now we are primaries, what we witnessed was nothing. We all saw it. He could not speak against it because that is how the NPP politics, they are not ready to change. They are not ready to change the way they do their politics. And so we need to applaud this government. In fact, we need to applaud this president. We need to applaud the leadership of parliament. We need to applaud the NDC as a political party. They are changing our politics. They are making it more cleaner. They are really showing us maturity. Actually, where Jimmy and you have a problem with. This is the change you have been looking for. A party, its leadership, is able to boldly say, we think this election did not go the way it was supposed to go. Legitimately, we think some things were off and that it should be annulled. Some people have even raised issue of the primaries being annulled. This is a big deal. Can the NPP do that? Can the MPP with the JHS delegates, can they do that? These are foolish people we are not supposed to pay attention to. And if we want to have a conversation, this is a conversation we need to have now. This is a conversation that will change the face of our politics. We have been screaming since 1992. Your politics, sika seno. Your politics, sika seno. Your politics, sika seno. And they are a political party that has taken the step, the bold step, to speak against its own party members about some of the conduct that they believe goes against what we Ghanaians we stand for and what the party itself stand for. Why are you not happy about this? This is the conversation we need to be having. This is the most important thing Ghana after 60-something years in our history. Let's not joke with this. From today, you will say NDC changing your politics for the better. Almost standard, almost maturity. The way they understand politics now, MPP volunteers here, they are still foolish. Metumabo videos bear 30 waha. Videos bear 30. Agyapong, Bawumia, Agyapong, Omu Chesika last week, yeah. We all saw it. We all saw the videos. None of the people in the NPP, not a single dwarf or a pet, was able to speak against it. Now, Yenya party bolder. We should be happy. So I am very happy about this. The NDC should take their time. They should investigate the matter. They should come to that conclusion. NDC is a matured party. It's a party that is ready to protect our democracy. It's a party that is unique. And that other lesser parties like the NPP, they need to learn from the NDC. And from day one, NDC, they have always taken the lead. They have always been the leaders. They have always shown maturity in their decision-making, in their conferences, in their party decisions. You have seen it. Right now, when you look at the leadership of the NDC and look at the leadership of the NPP does not even have, they don't even have a chairman. So it's a party full of piglets who still believe, say, they are entitled to fool on the streets of Ghana. That's their problem. But this is a life-changing thing for Ghana as a nation. So be percent or who's a Ghana mature this, because the question the person will ask is, so is this coming from the same political party that is in power? Say yes. And their own people went for primaries and the party is speaking against it. Yes. That shows that the party has arrived. The NDC is about 30 years ahead of the MPP. And this alone should tell you that. In Ghana, let's not underestimate it. Let's not see this as a normal thing. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Ghana history, This is a big deal, so let's not underestimate this, please. Very important. All right, let's move forward. Now, this is also another story. We've spoken about it. VALCO, last make I say, this VALCO matter, realistically, VALCO needs over $700 million. $700 million to work at full capacity, VALCO. Now, this something is happening. VALCO workers are demanding the resignation of Gyadek CEO Randolph Chumesi Ankra, accusing him of mismanagement and exaggerating losses to justify government investment plans. Now, local union chairman Tete Samuel Watchman Ajiman urged the president to dismiss him, saying attempts to engage him have failed. And yes, workers are more VALCO. Omunyina abo man say, man or the leader of Gyadek. In fact, Gyadek, omuye basically in charge of government shares when it comes to VALCO. Into VALCO, no shares wom. Gyadek, omujine muma abain shares no protect. Now workers now more VALCO no, and yes, oyechere nyina ne said yen oyechere ne say si leader na oda Gyadek na no Mr. Randolph no say I Mr. Randolph no or misinforme. Now the oye ne say VALCO ekana VALCO ebo no or ma ekana ehuhu send ye be ya aban ede strategic investors beba on board. Tio VALCO workers no say ko demonstration in the adentra say Mr. Randolph Gyadek no on the down no na aban shares nom handle no workers ni leader no odi workers dey demonstration say jatum say VALCO aboka jatum say working conditions nye jatum say VALCO no is not making any profit, but the embom adentina Mr. Randolph no mana yehu magana fo hu say VALCO negu. Between you workers and myself here, we all know say VALCO egu. Now, the person who is behind this is the CEO. Last week, me say, obi onipebia oba blocky investors from coming to invest in VALCO. Strategic investors coming to invest in VALCO. No, now Sanipan is making some money out of VALCO. Because recently, say the workers of VALCO, they were demonstrating, say, salary mba, working conditions in yet. The Ben Namo said the CEO of VALCO. Demonstration say now what the CEO is doing in the say strategic investor no eba mua na so the sika be VALCO mua things will have to change. Now strategic investor coming to invest in VALCO does not mean say they are going to fire anybody. In fact, in the first place, when you read the MOU between the strategic investors and the VALCO, and it doesn't talk about laying off anybody. So one, it means job security, everybody's job is protected. Secondly, it means say you people the new contract, it is going to the improvement in your working conditions is going to go high because nippon this no obe make sure say for you to make sure your output ejuma na moye no the beba out in the revenue it will basically be worth the security be it when you study what is happening at VALCO the CEO now VALCO is working 100% now say capacity is working only 20% at this capacity. What is happening is CEO only group of people they are using VALCO as a private company. Ejuma VALCO yana sikaka kreba no ene no mo de show mo ho. And they have been doing this for years, sir. They are making millions. It is the same way they did to Tor. Oh, Tama oil refinery ne ohono. The reason why Tiana Napo empese beton Tor. And I say, Yabema investor Abem to come and do what? Invest in Tono. And all the NPP energy sector ministers mobile. The reason was that they were using Tor as a cash cow. In Napo, omo di Ghana so Agyapong mo Bawumia mo ne Kufuado mo no. Na Tor containers and as tanks na hono. Na omo di omankasa fuel ba na omo di store. Because the moment Tor starts to work, containers and I say tanks, Tor will need it to store its own fuel in it. In Tinapomo, they did everything possible to stop investors coming in to invest in Tor. And in Tina, they be able to say under MPP, investors investor Ofori-Atta Agyapong. It was deliberate because the more they keep Tor dysfunctional and I say enye adwuma no, people are able to use store air tanks no as a tank farm. Omu diesels near there no omu store no ho. It is the same thing happening at VALCO. Now, what the CEO is doing, and say he's using the workers as the shield. He is making the workers think he's fighting for them. In real life, no, the workers are not getting paid less. Their working condition is bad. They are not getting anything out of VALCO. But the CEO no, is making money out of VALCO because CEO no be complaining say all the incentives that ebeko le dwuma emaninya de also nya no yenji ba kumpo mfiri mu. He is being paid fully. So why he said the CEO or no CEO no, he doesn't want a VALCO to work at its full capacity so that a lot of people will be employed, and those who are already currently employed at VALCO no, almost conditions very better. Now the question here is, the CEO of VALCO, can he raise $700 million in any serious jurisdiction, any serious country? The first person can be Pamono, any the CEO, he has failed. As a CEO, your job is to bring in the revenue. However you bring it, nobody cares. That is why you are the CEO. That is why the salary you are paid, you need to think. You need to be able to be proactive. Also, when I VALCO every area, when I would me edging Emma VALCO, etimian faso. Now, what VALCO? Now, VALCO area, juma, VALCO egu. You pay $700 million. Now, want to me raise $700 million. You are still insisting, say, so obi the $700 million by my penny. Are you crazy? That means you, the CEO of VALCO, you are a thief. So what he is doing is he is basically inciting the workers against Gydek, because the fact of the case is they say Gydek no omo representing Edian are buying no shares of VALCO. So what the government wants to do now is that the government doesn't have $750 million sitting in a bank. The government needs investors to come in, pump $750 million, because at the end of the day, VALCO is on our land. VALCO belongs to us. People who are going to work at VALCO are Ghanaians. So the strategic partner now, Gydek, is leading this conversation. Gydek just wants Ghanaians to get more jobs, because when $750 million is pumped into a VALCO, obviously they are going to employ more people. When $700 million is pumped into VALCO, Ghana is going to basically benefit from VALCO, because still now VALCO be producing, the local market is there to absorb it, and even our neighboring countries. So who in their right senses will say, I am against a strategic investment, and a strategic investor bringing $750 million. Abroad, there is a CEO who cannot even raise $100 million. The CEO sitting at VALCO, he cannot even raise $50 million. So why is he blocking that? The CEO should be out there advocating for an investor, advocating for strategic investors, taking over VALCO or partnering with the government to build VALCO. But the CEO is basically now behind these workers, inciting them against Gydek, that is bringing in an investor. It is Sanyo Manyoma Weno, and it's the government of the day. The CEO needs to be sacked. The CEO has failed. He is not going to help us. He is using a VALCO ejuma air cost to 20% kakreye ejuma ODD on any parties NHS Kennedy. The CEO is avoiding forensic audits. He should avail himself on personal audits. When they call high profile meetings, no I call for IT guy betting him. He does not want to open VALCO books, and he's behind some of these workers hungry or once, no, and musika say, mukwe demonstration. We as a nation, we need to take decisions. So you do that point, say John Mahama, any NDC for take a serious decision and can then talk and can you operational. Today, TOR is working because a government came into office and said TOR needs to work. TOR ejuma oyeno, and you been ama petrol buako form. TOR ejuma na omo yeno enu bi na ama u petrol akofom enti sa VALCO start ejuma nyoma VALCO be produce na mosumu di edi ejuma no edwo no be kofom. So why are we sitting here engaging or entertaining the CEO, building this unnecessary tension and kua emfaso bi so? The CEO needs to be sacked. The CEO is a thief. He does not have VALCO any interest baby. VALCO na odi ayane cash cow or the riska. Mr. President, with all due respect, we need the strategic investors now. They need to come and take over VALCO. They need to come and straighten things up. They need to come open it up and allow and recruit more Ghanaians to get work. Because Abanwe, you people told us your main purpose or your main aim is to get a lot of Ghanaians. You need to put them to work. So we expect this government to make this happen quickly. But before this happens, the CEO of VALCO needs to be audited. That guy has chopped so much money with this guy. Osro said, let me tell you why he's scared. The CEO of VALCO, right? The moment strategic investors come in, they are going to audit him. That is his fear. Because strategic investor now all banner this $750 million obey forensic audits. And Sana or pump 700 million. Now, omo audit now, the CEO knows the damage he has caused at VALCO. On himself, on one case obeko jail. So that is why he has built this firewall. He wants to prevent the government and private investors collaboration. With this get to the point Osro, because Obienu obedi $750 million beba obeka say me ba na mabetu sika negum obehwehwe de akoso obehun bebi a mokani free obehun bebi a sibia ekane baaye nipa obo kano, and the CEO is the first culprit. Into all these things happening, it is the mastermind of the CEO of VALCO. And now unim amako chetu journalist phobi kakakra say monka samaye na monka se guy de kinino that guy has done nothing. He is representing government interest and any interest. The guy your friend Randolph Chumesina or Gyadek CEO no ni interest President Mahama interest. Abine interest and any interest. So how can he go against the interest of the government? He is there because of the government. He is getting paid because of the government. So why would he try to prevent the government interest? Why would he try and stop the government interest? Because government interest never power. So why would he stop government, the Abema government? So the guy is there to help the government, for the government to make revenue. The reason why CEO no pitchy the workers against Gyadek CEO and say Gyadek CEO no is basically trying everything possible to convince government say we will need a strategic partner. Into Nigerian say so to me getting rid of Gyadek CEO now nobody will be able to lead that charge. But Gyadek CEO is looking at the bigger picture, the long-term thing. He's looking at VALCO working at its full capacity. Why are we sitting here? The same thing. He said to Juma. And Kebetuma Tnaha, I am a Todie, and a Todie, and a Kwame Nkrumah, and a Todie. And so a president came and made a decision. Now, this young lawyer at Tor, the CEO of Tor, see the work he's doing. Now, Bilim Sagan and Niba, I was higher Tenny, ever to change Tor, Emande, Tor, Juma 24 hours. No, Tenny Bau, and he has 10 Tor. Tor is making money for you and I. Why can't we do the same for VALCO? Why is the CEO doing this? The CEO is a criminal. And immediate action needs to be taken. Because yes, so CEO so holding kwasiasem, creating unnecessary tension, blocking a government investment. That guy needs to be sacked. The question is, you and I, who has $700 million sitting there to invest in VALCO? Do you have $700 million? The CEO, no? Does he have $750 million? Has he been able to raise even $100 million? And at this point, Nanko's CEO should be briefing us that he has been able to raise $900 million and that is better than $750 million. The guy has raised zilch. He's raised nothing. He's being paid every month, getting all the perks. And this guy is still trying to block Ghana. He's blocking us. Why are we allowing just one person, a greedy man who has stolen from VALCO, blocking a whole country and its citizenry from getting work to do? And I believe, say, this VALCO matter, the government should take it serious. In the shortest time, they should deal with this matter, bring in some strategic investors, which we know they are already talking to. Let them pump the money in there. The CEO is a criminal. Now, this story is very important. Abossey Okai spare part dealers threaten 1 week strike over 20% VAT. Mijujum. Mama min take a sip kakra. Mama min take a sip kakra. Mama min take a sip. Nani panche. A little sip. A little sip. hey fanta na no bo onum za no hey akodu mu ane de ogwakota tata blade eyi wa bodwe no wo de akoto fanta tata blade ogwakota tata blade eyi wa bodwe atete wa bodwe ho ma wa fresh boy no se buko mbanku no wo de akoto fanta ebo onum to na wo ti B29 economy for so bro menzano wo ti eyi 66k ana wo ti 92b 92b for obi etwaso for sika no koto tata blade de fa be yi wa bodwe na woni mu nna ho no wo de akoto fanta e na wo bo wonum eta what economy what economy muda economy for ehia mu bruta to say 2027 and 2026 bronya yi obi to take 2025 or 20 or 28 December 2025 or watchem for and otia plenty ke say de wakwaje ntoma po a otia ne kaka eyase ntoma abuofuru kanko asema jiri pa now omi ko edi fanta for now spare part for ASEM bi wa ha me be say me de me sakan kakra bi because we are doing some work there me maka me say aban we e also ye bibia boa obia e also aban we they also ye bia ma Ghana for ye ho hinhan ye bia also ye but you see I also ye careful as a people Abossey debia Abossey has become another political space in Ghana politics. Some people are using Abossey to destroy a lot of good things. A bit me a spare part sector and as economy. No. And yama ye ni Sheldon koho. And you see, every day, there yet a one-way story from Abossey. Aban sisiye. There's never been a day Abossey come for Okatakyie say, "We dear, yes ye to your watch the ama aban." It is always debia a aban sisiye. The story has been one way from day one. There's never been a day Abossey come for say, "Yes ye party na." Now you see this story. So we study Abossey come for. Sa a honorable done in the political ghetto. And what they are doing in say political parties and I say aban bi back on at the power. What happens in say your group be woman they find means to make it look like say aban is si omo. Senka Abossey kan yo hu. Senka de omo ye ho no nka omo nya mfaso a anka egu dada. Abossey kan Juma de bi omudi ni ho no senka mfa so ma anka egu. And I would like to say this honestly. Edu sometime they have the right to say the things they say because ebu wana nyome bi koswa ebia enkoye momo. We were here and I'm complaining about foreigners taking over their market and a whole lot of things. And some of the arguments they raise, it's laudable enough for you to side with them because Ghana for they also need to occupy the space and also make sure say Jumadi bi omudin or Abossey kan ho no or other spare parts dealership areas almost they benefit from the Jumadi omudi. Sometimes some of the arguments they make or grievances they put across they are very important laudable I was saying but there's something creeping in. Some people are turning Abossey into a political ghetto. And what they are doing, and they say, there are people who are Abossey tax, VAT. And every time a government comes to power, now or start to say or question about how they pay their VAT, how they pay taxes, what nyomana, omotona, omunya somfasona. What they do is they quickly quail in, create a gang and attack the government. And that is what we are seeing right now at Abossey. Not all of them, but there's a group of no. Now, do you know, say, Sadia we are Aban and Senya, Omasom Bebrebe Eka or Ghana say, Abossey. Now, Aban, 20% VAT. What do I go to me, yes, sir, Mamenchro? The Ghana Revenue Authority for extra letter command Abossey for. And catcher say, Mujuma dia mudino hono. In fact, do you know, say, there's an office at Abossey was say sa office no omu dwumadi omu di ne say from Ghana Revenue Authority no omu tumi check the books of every aboso kan the occupant obia or tonton spare parts obia no GRA actually create office or where was say a show mon kratem. Do you know that? Majority of you minimum. You know what's happening there? Some people at aboso kan omu beso omu beye. Now my mention idea. You see this document. Mami enlarge no. Na kwa siye bin kase Kevin Taylor kofa ne girlfriend letter. Now who read the document where my mention the document him. GRA PO Box 3419 digital address GA 1770942. The managing director Kingdom Auto Part Company Limited, Accra. Tin number na ewo no. Now, she letter no. Uya letter na. You will see, dear sir or madam, letter of introduction to conduct issue-based audits on VAT returns filed till date. Ti head no. And letter we no. Eye GRA na chirokoma aboso kan for. It is hard now what to say. Abansi metia tax. There are some people at aboso kanya for a very long time. Omun record VAT. Omun tia VAT. Not all of them, but they are gang gibi wo hodi omu no. To the moment obe say aban pese obehwe omun kratem no. No mo kriti eye kasebia to sister no to say aban is cheating them. But you see, the omu ye di sie Ghana no. Say aban we decide say obey forensic eye the VAT eye checks ewo aboso kanya. Majority of omo aboso kan ometom storm in 24 hours. Now I'm reading the letter and show. And this letter was sent on the 2nd of February 2026. A few we are. Now read the letter. I'll say letter of introduction to conduct issue-based audits on VAT returns filed till date. It's GRA for say omo de eya enkaya bro mo say omo pese omo babo so kan na afei ombehwehwe mo amotonton spare parts mo nkrata mo VAT no ye be audit mo na ehu se VAT na ankasa no mutua. Now you read the GRA for edit share letter ni mo ankasa. Or say the following officers have been assigned to conduct an issue-based audits on your VAT returns filed with the Ghana Revenue Authority. And Ghana Revenue Authority show letter I'm say yedin kwofo bi ba aboso kan. The omo be ne say omo be hwehwe mo nkrata emu. Senya mo VAT no motua ebesi mpempenso ese motua ye be say ye hwese obi atua ne VAT. So they nya bone. They want to know. GRA wants to know. And what show letter ma aboso kan for say yeah the officers say ba. Because what is happening is say there's an office at Aboso Kan, but these people are not at the end of the day filing their VAT. They are not filing their audit. So office needs to work and omutwafa ho. Now, Desmond Nate or your supervisor Obekobi, Mohammed Abdul Karim onoso Ebekobi, and Isaac Afotey-Agbo Nene, and I say Nene onoso Ebekobi. These are the three officers. Ghana Revenue Authority say or senya aboso kan. Now, for the audit exercise, kindly make the following document available. And GRA say your officers neba na sa exercise no be conducted or aboso kan no. Mo ma sa documents when you ready. Send them omo ba adwuma no be easy amomo. Easy as that. Documents better say aboso kan for enyen ready. Na officers ne ba be check your VAT books. Obianka so obi awie ska. Obianka so obi abokro no. Eye emrate o se hwe obi ankratem hwe VAT a otua ne ade. Now, document VAT bond. VAT books. VAT input document. Bank statement. Purchase card. Copy of VAT certificate. Any other document relevant for the audit. Please accord the team the necessary support and cooperation in the conduct of the exercise. It was signed by Maxwell Na. Inti Sausha. From the day na omunya hint to say the Ghana Revenue Authority the officers ba aboso kan to come and check their books and almost start agitation. I abain sesiano yakwa abain VAT to be 20%. They know, and I will urge the government, the GRA, they need to make this happen. Ghana for your person who VAT and Ofori-Atta de Abossey. And you see, there are people at Abossey, they pay their VAT, they pay everything. There's a clique, there's a group, that is what they do. Now, they knew this letter was going to come. They had a hint of it. This is what they did. They quickly went through Guta and released a statement way. Remember, my mention idea, the letter that GRA sent to Abossey that they are sending 3 officers, Baho, Abeyesa, audit, it was on the 2nd of February. Now, see something. You see, on the 29th of January, and quickly, Guta for release this statement way. So you see, they wanted to release their statement before GRA releases the officers to go and check their VAT. Because you see, what they do, and they say, they always try to be proactive in a weird way. And Sana abaning taking move to come and look in your books. No, Omudin can call it foul. And Sana Edian abaning take initiative. No, and you see petition now. Osha letter na the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Finance, and a good of watcher letter comma Finance Ministry 29th, 22nd. Not Omunim say on the 2nd of February. GRA for the officers now. Petition for urgent review of the new value-added tax system. Now you see, they know that when a GRA bar, officers in the bar, they are going to check their VAT. Suddenly, they are talking about the new VAT system. We have been in this country. We all know the new VAT system abandoned by. When the government took out the e-levy, there was a new format abandoned by. In the past, they were having this flat charge. We all know about this. Right now, the government came in and it's like, we are going to look at respective products or items being shipped in, and that the VAT will apply. So it is not new. How comes that suddenly Guta has a problem with the VAT system? They want the government to relook at it. Into Finance Minister Bekasa, because they knew that on the 2nd, the GRA was going to release a statement that officers are coming to Abossey to come and check their books. So we need to force Abossey to open their books. After they open their books, we can have a conversation about VAT. Now, when you read this letter, which I didn't want to read because it's going to take a lot of our time, but let me read a little bit of the letter from Guta to the Finance Ministry. I'm going to say, we, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Guta, register our serious concern about the genuine challenges our members will face with the new VAT system, and, as a result, appeal to your good office to, as a matter of urgency, review it for easy compliance and administration. Now, despite the willingness of our members to comply, the system is cumbersome for most of them, especially with the computation, identifying inputs and outputs, as well as treatment of transactions. Now, the issue, what they are trying to say, so who study, who read the letter no release here, Finance Ministry, and say, ta VAT no. How to do it, is cumbersome, complicated. The computerization, no, and how they are going to write it out. I'm members in this is nothing. You see what they are doing? They are basically muddying the waters. They are basically calling, making it look like they are basically at the receiving end, and that is what they do. A business normally it's simple. Open your books. Let the government come in with its officers to look in your books. In fact, in the GRA letter, things to make ready. Nyoma mumfanguo ansana officers naba. Say ubo ejuma na ucha VAT na bibia ya kroji na statement nyina on pointer. Why would you have a problem with that? Inti, what I would suggest and say, Abossey, we have no problem with you people. We respect you people a lot. We want your leadership to go back and tell say, make your books available. After GRA does its audit, then we can talk about the VAT. If you think the VAT is high, GRA is open for discussion. They can sit with you, the finance minister can sit with you and trash these things out. But you don't want to open your books and you want to negotiate. It doesn't work like that. Because we need to build this nation. We need to get revenue from all these small VAT we are collecting to build the nation. You don't want to open your books, but you want to do what? You want to negotiate. You don't do that. You are basically telling Ghana for say, hey, Jimmy, open your books first. After we are done looking into your books, we can discuss the VAT. Whether it's cumbersome, the computing system, the output and input is so complicated, we can sit. The finance minister is a reasonable gentleman. The GRA boss is a reasonable gentleman. They will sit with you. They will meet you at a point that is convenient enough and reasonable enough for you to do your business, for the government to also be okay. So why is Abossey, spare parts dealers failing or not willing to open their books? Ochina, you some question way. Until you guys open your books, nobody's going to open room for discussion or engagement with you people. Because Asamoah is a Jimmy. And I want to state this, and but there are some of them. So it's as simple as that. Abossey, open your books. Abossey dealers, open your books. Abani say, obey here VAT books. Obey here. Let me enlarge it. The government says it will need your VAT books, your VAT input document, your bank statement, your purchase card, your copy of VAT certificate, and other documents be here. Make those books, documents available. Let the government officers come in. Where are you preventing them? Then you are using this as a destructive mode. And that is something they have been doing for years. Until you people open your books, nobody's going to sit with you guys and negotiate on anything. If VAT is high, we get it. But open your books first and let us see how much you are making. Let us see how much you are making from the things you are selling. When we get to know your margins, your profit margins, we will get to know whether we have to look at the VAT or we don't have to look at it. It was as simple as that. You see, I know sometimes, Mama Fire say, Jimmy, for there are some people, guta for my catch was a guta for them, majority of me are cromfo. They play on us. They use, I'm just here, Jimmy. And I've heard tomorrow, you guys are going to meet the finance minister or something. You need to talk about your books. Mumbia munkratem, officers neba, obianya ninkrata ready, niansha VAT no, sign a mutia. You are not paying, but you want reduction. We are working on something at Abossey, but the documents are bechiremo. Omuntia VAT for about 10 years. Omuntia be that. Your uncle for Abossey, bet 10 to 15 years. Omuntia VAT that. Omuni VAT receipt crap. Omuni be. And you know the amount of money they make. Me say, maybe be expose be wa Abossey. There are some people at Abossey. Oma ton yoma be 10 years ni. Omuntia VAT that. Yes. And they make millions. And I'm going to publish all of these guys on my books. I am going to show you to Ghana. Now, the amount of money they make, some of them, I imagine, say, they don't even still want to pay VAT. Some people are making 100 times, million times VAT, but they don't want to pay. Because you see, so Abossey, GRA should be office or what? Side Jumadi and also office the Bawumia. They don't mind them. They don't even give a shit about them. And intina, yes, any officers now, you see, almost saying, so, sir, 20% VAT a distraction. They want to mess the conversation up. But this is the real issue. I was so kind for Ochinamunya press conference. Now, mon can't say, Munamuya was so kind for no, mu books in now ready. A buying bramble or the Timo, near who will be to VAT. Yet they are not going to do it because most of them don't pay the VAT. We'll be back on this matter. Obi said my ex is working at GRA. Now can be some ASEM way. Mama can be in. Do you people know say Oma hene kobna sante? Do you people know say Oma hene kobna sante? Ne yiri eye juma maritime authority. Yeah. and the MPP the no kwahye the position na ede amano krampo no she does not deserve to be at that position. Oman hene Kwabena Asante. Ghana Maritime Authority ehon na ne yiri adwuma. Do you know? And do you know what Oman hene Kwabena Asante ede ne yiri eye Maritime Authority? But ne yiri ID baba me ne baba kyerɛ mo. She was jammed, ne yiri no. Opa ochina no pombetena reduce nka semeboa. Ne yiri no. Yade ne ba Maritime Authority. Position no, you jump in about 4 times. She does not deserve where she is now. Oman in Kwabena Asante and the MPP and Otamane Yere Edinokotna Maritime Authority. Obra Ochina Bomba kan semeboa. And intina ochisa ka na ochi Lexus no. Ne Yere ena under MPP gapoha omuchi femu. Kwabena Asante. Momu ya ebeji mu Japade nyina gu bolem. Me minimum me ensama minimum no. Se meka 10% mu nyina mu bedem. Oman hene Kwabena Asante ne yiri adwuma Maritime Authority. Na ne yiri na commit a crime bi a ho. Eni senka Maritime Authority no kra otena ho. I want Oman hene Kwabena Asante to dare me. And do you know the funny thing? Oman hene Kwabena Asante ene ne yiri connive. I'm telling you to blackmail people. Osemeboa. Oyere ne boa. Both fruit, Oman Kwabena Asante no tia sempa no. Da be na mote so aka Maritime Authority for asem. Ne yere ho na yere adwuma. And the kufu no den yere kwhye ho. Yeah. Do you know what is happening in Ghana? Omo mu samu nyina magimi. Me say Oman Kwabena Asante one na yere. They connived to blackmail somebody. Omo wie no me ka se me ka Oman hene a story one na yere no cookie story. Story no omo ya story ni wi a Oman hene Kwabena Asante nka na story no omo de akoma blogger na blogger ne de akoma a newspaper na newspaper na publish na Oman hene Asante atena sempa discuss it. Yeah. Ne yiri adwuma Maritime Authority. Mesemu ya magim ho Japade nyina de gu bolem. Mo sanga ora mo ti radio so ne Paul Adomo cha nkwasafo no. Magim ho Japade nyina meboaboa no me begu bolem ne betwaja atum. Because mun nyina mun ka no kore. Mun nyina mun ya zanfo. Asamoah mun nya abutre o be se keti Asamoah nya abutre me say ochira mun musa na yiri adwuma wen. There qualification and yiri de call Maritime Authority. Mun musa no. Kwabena Asante. Ne yiri adwuma wen me say oye adwuma Maritime Authority. Ghana Maritime Authority. Mun musa say qualification man and yiri de call and the MPP, why na di ne yire nim amekofa na yire adwuma a ya jump na yire to that position mumusa no. These are corrupt people. The
MPP cannot be underestimated.
The MPP of Darocha, Sakiskek, Victor Wusu, Kofi Buzia, Professor Edubuahe, Alajete, J.A. Kufuor, those men of value, those men of integrity are not what we have today. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting, wanting to be flag bearers, are just sankwas. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting, wanting to be flag bearers, are just sankwas. I tell you without mincing words,